From the School of Journalism and Mass Communication at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, this is Carolina Week.
Good evening, I'm Jenny McClendon.
And I'm Catherine Chang. Our top story tonight. The Young Democrats at UNC Chapel Hill are putting together a game plan now that Senator John Kerry is all but assured of the Democratic nomination for president. Kerry has won primaries or caucuses in 31 states, netting more than 2,000 delegates. Young Democrats President Justin Guillory says Kerry will make a good competitor and is different from President Bush.
The Young Democrats will hold a rally Monday at 7:30 in the Pit to officially announce the group's support for Kerry. Conservative students are starting to gear up as well. Members of the college Republicans held a rally Tuesday to show support for their party in the upcoming November elections. State Senator Robert Pittenger introduced U.S. Senate candidate Richard Burr. Burr didn't speak about his own campaign, but focused on the effort to re-elect George Bush. Burr told students he believes Bush has done a good job in dealing with America's recent problems. Not everyone there was a Burr supporter. Members of the Young Democrats came with posters for Erskine Bowles, Burr's competitor for Senator John Edwards' vacated seat.
An election overseas has the attention of the United States. Vladimir Putin is once again president of Russia. He was re-elected in a landslide Sunday. Putin is a controversial leader worldwide, criticized for his heavy hand on the media, and praised for his success in improving Russia's economy. During a recent visit to Moscow, I talked with Russian college students about their controversial president. In Moscow, journalism students at MGIMO, a university often praised as the Harvard of Russia, have mixed feelings about their newly re-elected leader. In the final days before the election, Elena Litovchenko, a third-year journalism student, said she didn't approve of Putin's campaign strategy.
I respect him a lot, but it's just that I don't want that somebody presses on me so that I would go and vote for exactly this candidate. And it seems like Putin is pressing, so that's why I don't want to vote for him.
Another student, Maria Zanova, expressed an ambivalent feeling about the president.
I don't like Putin, not because he is a bad man. He's a very good president. He's very hardworking. Has I don't know. He's a great personality, but I just don't appreciate some of his actions, some of his moves.
Oksana Ufemtseva chose to vote for Putin. She says most of the influence on her vote comes from one source.
My parents, they're far away. I don't speak a lot on politics with my friends. That's why I believe it's mass media that has influenced my opinion.
Zonova planned to vote for Irina Hakamada, a candidate who harshly criticized Putin, saying his strict control of the media made the election a mockery.
It will be my protest against some things happening in our country, but I think it's our duty just to come and to vote, and I hope that most young people understand it.
Beyond a duty, 50% of Russia's population must vote for the election to be valid. Litovchenko says the pressure to vote sometimes comes from unlikely places.
One of my friends was called to the dean office, and she was pretty scared because she thought that she had done something wrong. And when she came in, they said, like, come on, are you going to vote? We think you really have to.
She says no matter who the Russian president is, it's up to the citizens to help the rest of the world understand what she calls the Russian soul.
You know, not like we're free. We understand that we have to vote. We understand that we have to be liberal, and we want to be liberal, and we want to be like Europeans or Americans or whatever. But still, we're Russians, and I guess we have to be proud of it.
Since Putin's re-election, Colin Powell has spoken with the Russian president about the importance of continuing on the road to democracy. Next week, we'll bring you another look at Moscow students and show you several ways college culture in Russia differs from college life in Chapel Hill.
It's been less than a week since 10 bombs exploded on commuter trains in Spain, the worst terrorist attack since 9/11 2.5 years ago. UNC Chapel Hill students and professors remembered the more than 200 people killed by observing a minute of silence in front of Dye Hall Wednesday at noon. Some Spanish students went there to honor the memories of their relatives and friends. Some Americans were in Spain for spring break when the attacks took place.
I walked into Plaza Nueva in Sevilla, and Hundreds of students there gathered with white acrylic paint on their hands, holding their hands up for peace. And then later, on Friday, there was a massive demonstration of about somewhere around 500,000 people in Sevilla.
Despite the attacks, some Carolina students say they'll go back to Spain soon.
On the anniversary of the U.S. invasion of Iraq, anti-war protesters will be marching in Fayetteville Saturday. The event is part of the Global Day of Action and is the largest anti-war effort in Fayetteville since the Vietnam War.
$1.66, enough to buy a can of soda and a candy bar or a gallon of regular gas in Chapel Hill. With the national average reaching $1.72 a gallon, local residents are paying the price to fill their tanks. Chapel Hill resident Phil Patterson reluctantly accepts the cost.
We mechanize and engineer our way out of it, which is not going to happen next week or next month. We're going to have to live with driving these large cars and using this kind of gasoline.
AAA Carolinas recommends the following tips to help save fuel. Carpool when possible, stay between 55 and 65 miles per hour on the highway, make sure your tires are properly inflated, and finally, shop around for the best price.
Class registration starts Saturday, and if you aren't sure what you want to study, now you'll have another option. Beginning in the fall, you'll be able to minor in Latino studies. The minor will draw from a number of departments across campus, including journalism, social sciences, and Romance languages. Associate Professor of Public Policy, Krista Pereira, is excited about the new curriculum.
This program will teach students about the cultural experiences, about the socioeconomic experience and political experience of Latinas in the U.S. and help them learn how to communicate with and serve the Latino population.
Statistics from 2000 show North Carolina has the fastest growing Latino population in the country.
Americans might be avoiding red meat after December's mad cow scare.
But a local professor might be able to help the meat industry clean up and calm fears. And it all starts with chicken feathers.
If you think there's a difference, you're dead wrong. Alcohol kills more people under 21 than heroin, cocaine, and every other illegal drug combined. MAD. Say nothing, do nothing, stop nothing.
Awaken your creativity. Do your thing at the Art School at the Art Center in Carborough.
The questions about whether there will or won't be a tuition hike next year are close to being answered. Members of the UNC System Board of Governors will vote Friday on a proposed tuition hike. Some say tuition increases are especially hard on a particular group the university needs badly: grad students.
Graduate students are kind of a central cog in this whole thing. They teach undergraduates, so they have an impact on undergraduate education, they have an impact on research, and they have an impact on faculty retention.
From 2001 to 2002, in-state tuition increased from about $3,200 to more than $3,800. For out-of-state students, tuition went up nearly $2,000 a year. The upward trend has continued in the current school year. In-state tuition is now more than $4,000, and out-of-state tuition has hit almost $16,000 a year. Student government is organizing a march to attend the BOG meeting Friday at 9 a.m.
We're down to 53 days and counting. Commencement is May 9th, and seniors are getting ready. Several organizations were available to seniors in the Great Hall Wednesday for May Commencement Information Day. Seniors had the opportunity to check their graduation status and get all the information they need for commencement. Seniors can purchase their caps and gowns at student stores from April 23rd to May 9th. And it's not too late to get graduation announcements. You can get those at student stores also. In the event of adverse weather, students will need to pick up 3 tickets from the Smith Center ticket office during Senior Week. For more information about commencement, check our website, carolinaweek.org.
New research could change how the meat industry deals with the threat of mad cow disease. Medical reporter Sonia Sutton has that story.
Longtime Carrboro resident Edward Fouché stopped buying beef because of concern about mad cow disease.
Well, I've thought about it, but like I say, I have enough beef at home to last for maybe 6 months. But I'm not going to buy any beef no time soon.
NC State professor Jason Shih discovered a way to use a bacterial enzyme to break down chicken feathers. Because of the mad cow scare, he wanted to find out if the same process could help fight against mad cow disease.
I thought if my enzyme can break down feathers, it should be able to break down the prion.
Scientists believe mad cow disease is caused by prions, or pieces of protein. Normal prions are folded, like in this diagram. In mad cow disease, the proteins become stretched out and twisted, as you can see here. Dr. Shih was able to use his research to break down feathers to break down the proteins that cause mad cow disease. Shih says his research could be used to clean up a slaughterhouse possibly contaminated by an infected cow, or clean up a hospital treating a person infected with a human form of mad cow disease. Shih says there's little risk of a similar disease breaking out in other meats.
Not in pork, not in poultry. Interestingly, people even injected this material into the chicken. Chicken doesn't get sick. Pork, you can cause the death of the pork, but it's the pork doesn't get crazy, and that doesn't become a mad pork or mad pig.
Shih says one theory about why mad cow disease can spread to humans from beef, but not from other meats, is because the prions in humans and cows are similar. There are still many unanswered questions about how the disease spreads and how to ensure all beef is safe. Shih hopes his research will begin to answer those questions. In Raleigh, I'm Sonia Sutton, Carolina Week.
The Department of Agriculture announced plans Tuesday to expand surveillance for tracking mad cow disease in the U.S. And our mad weathercaster Kelly Mahoney joins us now.
Yeah, not a whole lot to be mad about this week. We did have a kind of a bad start to the week, but things are looking up, so we have that to be excited about, and at least in terms of looking forward to the weekend ahead. I'll let you know more about what's on tap over the next couple of days in just a second, but first let's go to this week's weather question, which is, what must you have in order to see a rainbow? Is it your back to the sun, ice in the clouds, a thunderstorm passing, or a pot of gold at the end? Have your weekend forecast right after the break.
Get a job.
Look, it's a giraffe.
I don't see it.
The less art kids get, the more it shows. Are yours getting enough? Art. Ask for more. AmericansForTheArts.org.
Thousands of kids in this country have everything it takes to go to college, except the money. The United Negro College Fund. A mind is a terrible thing to waste.
Hi, and welcome back to Carolina Week. Well, after a cool and wet start to the week, our weather headlines for the weekend and the couple of days leading up to it do include a drying out trend with seasonable temperatures during the day and dipping down to some chilly nighttime lows. Well, starting off, we want to go ahead and remind you that spring does begin this Saturday, March 20th at 1:49 a.m. Also called the vernal equinox is when we have equal amounts of day and night, and most people value this day as the official beginning to the spring season. So the question now is, when will we start to see that spring weather at least come and stay for the remainder of the season? Well, let's start out by taking a look at the satellite map, and you can see the main feature for North Carolina is a band of clouds that's associated with a retreating cold front off the east coast. However, it's really gotten hung up over a portion of eastern North Carolina. So while we expected to see the sun most of the day, we actually were stuck back with some scattered showers and low cloudiness. However, this will get scoured out. The bad news to that is that the mechanism that's going to force it on out is yet another cold front, bringing with it another threat of rain as we head into Friday. Now, after that band of rain does move through, if we take a look at the surface map, you can see the setup like this is as we head into the weekend. This system will start to build as low pressure overtakes the southeast. Stretching back is a cold front that will start to usher in some moisture out of the Gulf, bringing the threat of some showers and thunder showers Thursday evening, Thursday night, and into Friday morning. Now, the good news is Friday morning we'll start to dip into this region of high pressure, and that will provide us with a clearing trend and a warming trend, and start to get us into a much drier pattern over the next couple of days. Now, the system back way off to in the northwest will start to build in, and that'll be our next system that we deal with as we head through the weekend. But let's concentrate on the positive for the time being, and let's take a look at the Carolina Week 4-day forecast. You can see on Friday we'll see mostly sunny skies, don't want to confuse that, with a high of 65 degrees. Actually might get on up nearing the 70-degree mark in some areas. Overnight lows still a little bit chilly in the mid to upper 30s. On Saturday we might start to see clouds thicken up by the afternoon. However, mostly sunny on Saturday for the most part. 65 degrees with an overnight low of 40. On Sunday, we start to see mostly cloudy skies as that next cold front approaches. We see a threat of rain Sunday night into Monday. High on Sunday will be about 65 degrees, a low pretty mild at 45. And as we head into the work week next week, mostly sunny skies on Monday, but we'll get off to a cooler start. High, we'll be lucky if we reach 60 degrees with a low of 38. Well, if your weekend plans include some traveling options, the beach is an excellent option on Saturday. Sunny skies will prevail with the high of 67, a low of 42. If you're thinking of heading down to the beach Sunday, it won't be a complete rain out, but you will probably see a shower throughout the afternoon, possibly a thunderstorm, a high of 70 and a low of 52. If you're thinking of heading out west to the mountains instead, on a Saturday, see mostly sunny skies once again, a high of 62 and a low right around the freezing mark at 32. On Sunday, mostly sunny skies with a very mild high of 60 once again, not even getting to the freezing mark Sunday night at 34. And that means that for the ski slopes, they are still open this weekend. Appalachian and Sugar Mountain are pretty much operating at full capacity. However, this will probably be the last weekend that happens for a while. And getting back to the weather question, which has a little St. Patrick's Day theme, what must you have in order to see a rainbow? Any guesses?
I'm going to be adventurous and say D, a pot of gold.
Close. I mean, it's between that one or A, your back to the sun. You actually have to have your back to the sun in order for that optical illusion to kind of take place. It usually does happen after a thunderstorm, so most people think that's it, but it's not necessary, so. There you go.
Nope. Definitely a festive answer, but
yeah, a pot of gold would be nice, but not necessary.
All right, thanks, Kelly. Sure. Well, thanks for jumping in. Luke Nutstein joins us now with sports. Now, I know everyone knows that bracketology is kind of the buzz around campus these days. Luke, have you done any of your filling in?
I've filled out a couple brackets, but it seems like every year that I do this, no matter how much I study and research, you can never guess which teams are going to make it. So I've done a couple, but I could definitely handle doing a couple more. Well, Thursday, the madness begins for the men's and women's basketball teams. Get your remote control ready for more than 100 games in 3 weeks. Plus, action from the Diamond as the Carolina baseball team tries to bounce back from its first home loss.
You'd never know it on the battlefield, but nearly half of today's military are National Guard and reservists. However, they can't answer our nation's call without their employer's support. If you're an employer, visit esgr.org and find out how to do your part. After all, their response depends on yours.
428 Essex, Polyp on the premises.
220, we're on it. Let's roll.
In there.
Yeah, we'll handle this, man.
What?
We're ready to be very civil about this.
You never know when a polyp is going to show up. Get the polyp early and stop colon cancer before it even starts. Just get a test from your doctor. Get the test, get the polyp,
Nice surgeon's touch.
get the cure.
What up? Stuart Scott from ESPN. I'm here in Chapel Hill in the Dean Dome, but you know what? When I go home and turn on my TV, I'm actually not watching Sports Center when I'm here in Chapel Hill. I'm watching Carolina Week Sports. Booyah!
Despite getting bounced in the first round of the ACC tournament, the men's basketball team is finally back in familiar territory, the NCAA tournament. After what seemed like an eternity, 2 years to be exact, the Tar Heels stepped back into their dancing shoes Thursday. The 6th-seeded Tar Heels take on 11th-seeded Air Force in the first round in Denver Thursday night. If Carolina wins, the Heels will face the winner of the Texas-Princeton game Saturday. Texas is the 3rd seed in the Atlanta region and was runner-up in the Big 12 Conference. Princeton won the Ivy League title and is seeded 14th. UNC finds itself in the toughest region in the tourney. The Atlanta region includes 8 other teams that have gone to the Final Four. The top seed in the region is the Duke Blue Devils, meaning the Tar Heels could tangle one more time with Duke if both teams make it to the Elite Eight. But according to Coach Roy Williams, the team worries one game at a time.
We're concerned a little bit, but I'm hoping that our hunger will make that be a positive for us. I mean, I cannot imagine, and I've said this already this week, I cannot imagine anybody in the country being more hungry than we are. I mean, this is North Carolina, and we haven't been, nobody on my team has ever been. And if we're not hungry now, then we got some major problems. And so I can't imagine anybody's more fired up than we are.
The women's basketball team reached the finals of the ACC tournament, only to come up short one more time against Duke. That game didn't keep the Tar Heels out of the women's NCAA tournament, as head coach Sylvia Hatchell guides her 12th-ranked Carolina team into the big dance. The 4th-seeded Heels take on the 13th-seeded Blue Raiders of Middle Tennessee State Sunday in first-round action. Note the location of the game, South Bend, Indiana, because it's important. The first and second round games are being played on the home court of 5th-seeded Notre Dame, which UNC would play if the Tar Heels and the Irish both win their first-round games. If the Tar Heels went to the Final Four, they have to go through #1 seed Penn State and the UConn Huskies, the defending national champions. Coach Sylvia Hatchell says this team has championship potential, just like her team 10 years ago.
It does remind me a lot of our '94 team. This team's a lot younger than our '94 team, but yet it reminds me of that team because of the skill level, the talent, and the chemistry that this team has. And trust me, we've already passed the little sizing scale thing around, and they all know their ring size.
After going 7-1 during spring break, Carolina baseball was back in action Tuesday against Princeton. The Heels scored a pair of unearned runs in the first and then blew the game wide open in the second. Carolina sent 11 batters to the plate and scored 6 runs, causing Princeton coach Scott Bradley to tell starter Matt Sullivan, "You're fired." Then in the 5th, Marshall Hubbard goes to the cupboard for some peanut butter. It was Hubbard's 7th homer of the season and boosted his batting average to .349. He has a team-leading 24 RBIs. Princeton managed to tally some runs late, but Carolina runs away with the win, 14-8. At a soggy softball complex, the Tar Heels took on the Marshall Thundering Herd. UNC pitcher Crystal Cox gets nasty and piles up strikeouts. But Marshall pitcher Randy Nielsen can also get the strikeout, and we've got a pitching duel on our hands. Coach Donna Pappas says follow the signals. Dion Street obliges by digging out a single, but Carolina can't get a runner past second. No runs cross this plate, and it's a scoreless game in the 6th inning. After capturing 2 wins and suffering a narrow loss in California during spring break, the women's tennis team had to fight off a gator attack from defending national champions, the University of Florida. Carolina started a little under the weather in doubles play. UNC's #1 seed Aniela Mojic and Kendall Klein couldn't stop slams from nationally ranked #9 team Alexis Gordon and former Tar Heel Julie Rotundi. But with some moral support from the men's team, Klein and Mojic fought off the Gators match point after match point until the Heels fell 6-8. Close losses in the #2 and 3 seeds weren't enough to grab the doubles point. With a 6-0 sweep, singles action helped put another W in Florida's record as the Gators grabbed their 28th consecutive victory. The Heels fight for another Carlisle Cup point on Sunday when they start conference play at Duke at 1 p.m. With the NCAA Wrestling Championships beginning Thursday in St. Louis, 3 Tar Heel grapplers are looking to add the title All-American to their resumes. Mark Canty makes his 3rd trip to the NCAAs at 184 pounds after finishing 2nd at that weight at the ACC Championships. Heavyweight Ryan Adams earned his first ACC title and finished 8th nationally going into the tournament. Adams has won 14 of his past 15 matches. At 197 pounds, Vinroy July makes his first appearance at the NCAAs after winning his first ACC title. Slipping under the radar because of the madness of March, the Carolina football team begins practice Monday. It was the first of 15 practices for the Tar Heels. Head coach John Bunting has the team working on fundamentals this spring, something the Heels lacked en route to finishing at the bottom of the ACC last season. Well, ladies, March Madness is beginning, and I'm very excited about this. So we'll see what happens with the tournament. Also, the baseball team won 12-2 against Princeton on Wednesday afternoon.
Let me double check. You said Marshall Hubbard went to the cupboard for some what?
For some peanut butter.
Some peanut butter.
Yeah.
That's what I thought
It's a
I
new
heard.
home run term.
I wanted to make sure.
It's a new home run term.
All right. That sounds good.
Good
Thank
news
you,
about
Luke.
the baseball team. Thanks, Luke.
We are a Carolina Blue school.
But for one day, there's an exception to the rule.
The grass is one hint.
The beer has a special tint.
Coming up, you'll see what we mean.
Why everything across campus is green.
Recycling a glass bottle saves enough energy to run the TV you're watching for 1 full hour. Recycle. It's the everyday way to save the world. Making a can from recycled aluminum instead of from raw materials reduces air pollution by 95%. Recycle. It's the everyday way to save the world. Recycling all our Sunday papers would save over 500,000 trees a week. Recycle. It's the everyday way to save the world.
If you have a story idea, contact Carolina Week at 843-8292. You can also visit us online at carolinaweek.org. If you have questions about this program, write Carolina Week at Campus Box 3365, UNCCH, Chapel Hill, North Carolina, 27599.
Well, if you're looking over a four-leaf clover or hunting for a pot of gold,
you must know it's St. Patrick's Day. Carolina Week's Joe Mott followed the rainbow across campus to see who was sporting the look of the Irish.
It seems like everywhere you look, all you see is green. Many UNC students donned green apparel to celebrate St. Patrick's Day on Wednesday. Even the newly planted grass in the quad seemed to look a little greener.
Unlike many people, I forgot to wear green today. However, a nice woman loaned me this flower and pen after a few pinches so that I can fit in with everybody else and celebrate St. Patrick's Day wearing green.
So what are students doing to celebrate this colorful holiday?
Oh, definitely starting out with a six-pack of Harps, and then Harps, Guinness, something like that, and probably head up to Yates. Definitely drink some green beer.
I'm going to go out with my friends, probably to maybe a couple of frat parties, maybe out to the bars.
But isn't there something more to the holiday than partying and wearing green?
There's more to that? There's more than that? Oh, wow. All right, tell me.
St. Patrick was patron saint of Ireland. He eradicated all the snakes from the island and brought Catholicism to Ireland. So it's a celebration, basically, of his life and works, I guess you could say.
Without knowing the history, some Americans have their own way of celebrating St. Patrick's Day. Top of the Hill manager Rebecca Maitland says green isn't just to be worn.
Green beer is just one of those traditions that, and we also have dye behind the bar because we also sell a lot of Shirley Temples that are green and, you know, other green drinks because people just want to be green today.
However, WB Yates owner Dan Markscheid doesn't participate.
I refuse to do green beer. It is sacrilegious. I'm a beer drinker myself, as you could probably tell, and if you want some food dye, the bartenders will do it, but I will not serve green beer.
Whatever your plans to celebrate this most Irish of holidays, it will certainly be a colorful affair. In Chapel Hill, I'm Joe Mott, Carolina Week.
And if you've ever wondered why green is the official color of St. Patrick's Day, it's actually because of shamrocks.
An Irish tale says St. Patrick used the three-leaf clovers in his sermons to illustrate the Trinity.
And Kat, it looks like you forgot your green, so I'm gonna have to give you a pinch.
I've got some on my socks, but it's probably not enough.
There you go, there you go. Under the desk, that's acceptable. Well, thank you for joining us tonight.
Good evening. Have a good night.